The people who are watching are not interested in whether you've got a problem at home or you've had a relationship breakup or whether a member of your family's ill. So I think that now on television and I think in football dressing rooms, there are support systems in place, there are psychologists, I think, that are in every single sports team. I don't really speak about how I'm feeling.
Why do you think that is? Are you in a household that already has that sort of fluid conversation about how you're feeling outside of the menopause, whether it's the kids or you? That's a no.
I don't.
No.
No, I don't come home. I don't really speak about how I'm feeling.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, obviously I've spoken today about a little bit, so if things happen then obviously you're aware, but I think probably more in the last couple of years I have. But before that, no. I think it's maybe down to United, where you're in a dressing room of 25 blokes and you're playing football and you're going out to play, I don't know, Everton on a Saturday in front of 75,000 people. The people who are watching are not interested in whether you've got a problem at home or you've had a relationship breakup or whether a member of your family's ill. You've got to go out there and play. So there was this idea of don't bring your crap in here. Don't
right.
bring, you know what I mean? So if you walk into a dressing room, no one ever said, oh, I've got a problem at home with my partner or I've got an issue with a member of my family. You didn't bring that stuff into the dressing room just because it's an environment that is quite unforgiving, and I don't think men speak about those things. Young men speak about things very well anyway. So I think that was probably where it came from. And I didn't bring, you come home, my mum and dad didn't bring the problems home. They didn't bring the problems home, they came home, and so it obviously you speak more now than we've ever spoken, which is great, but I think I grew up in an environment where that wasn't the case. And it's right, I think with Emma, she didn't want my solutions and my sort of compartmentalised attitude towards it. She wanted actually listening to, and she wanted me to ask how she was, and she wanted me to, almost provide understanding, and I understand that, I accept that now, but that's not how I'm ordinarily wired. So in something, you try and find a solution, really, and you try and fix it.
Do you think football has changed at all since from when you were in the dressing room?
Yeah.
Do you think there is more of an open dialogue for bringing home issues onto the pitch? Because it will affect how you play, it will affect your mentality, it will affect how the team perform if one player is feeling like they're not coping mentally. Yeah,
I think about 5, 6, maybe, I don't know, maybe longer than that, 7 or 8 years ago, I think even societal issues, racism, sexism, we almost brushed it under the carpet in football. If there was an accusation or an incident that happened, we didn't cover it on television, we didn't cover it in broadcast. We'd almost push it to one side and say, let's get on with the game. Or we might mention it and say, there was an accusation of racism today. And then you'd move on to who scored in the 46th minute straight after it. Whereas now, we would put it front and central because it's the most important issue, or if there's an issue that's basically happened that's like that. So I think that now on television and I think in football dressing rooms, there are support systems in place, there are psychologists, I think, that are in every single sports team. I think, and I went to see one privately when I played football for United, but you would never admit that to the rest of the lads. So it has changed quite a bit, I think.
I mean, I've read about that more recently, that you were 24 when you saw a psychiatrist. So what led you to... Because if you were feeling uncomfortable having that chat with people you were working with, that takes some real guts to go, I'm going to seek outside professional help here. Yeah. And you need something pretty unstable within you to make you really go down that path to go, I need help. What was it that led you there?
So the only person that a football player would go and see in a football club is the doctor, because there is a sort of a confidentiality that you go and see your doctor and you'll tell your doctor anything. So it was the doctor that I went to see. It was because I'd had a relationship breakup and I'd been with someone for 7 years, and at that time I'd never gone to a football pitch thinking about anything else other than football, but I found thoughts about my actual private life, my home life coming into my mind. In fact, it scared the living daylights out of me. It's the first time I'd ever taken a home sort of issue into my work of football, and that was like, I don't get distracted, and I'm playing for United, so it scared me. I lost my confidence around that time. I didn't play very well. I made a couple of mistakes in a big game in Brazil, which coincided with that as well, so it all sort of came on top for a period, and I went and had probably about 7 or 8 sessions maybe with a psychiatrist, psychologist, but gave me the coping mechanisms, simple coping mechanisms that I use to this day.
Like what?
Did you think every day would be a good day? That's one of the things that he said to me. And it helps me so much, that one. So if something bad happens in a day, I always think to myself, did you really think every day would be a good day? And even if something really bad happens, let's say something happens to my dad a few years ago, I can compartmentalise it through that. Did I not think at some point in my life there was a chance that my dad was not going to be here? And I can sort of deal with it in that way because it puts it into perspective. And then you start to think about the other people who've not been fortunate enough to meet their father or their parents as often as I did and things like that. So you start to then put perspective around it, and it really helped me cope, and it does help me cope. If I'm feeling nervous about something, I then think about what I'm going to be doing a few hours after that will be quite relaxing. So, a really simple thing, if I was playing Liverpool on a Sunday, which United are tomorrow, I'd be heightened for that game. I would think about the fact that I'm going home later on and I'm having my Chinese, which I always had after a game.
Heaven.
So whatever happens during this match for 90 minutes, and the amount of people are going to be watching it and scrutinising it and criticising everybody who makes a mistake, I know I'm going to be eating my Chinese in 4 hours.
What a simple win, I love it.
And it helped makes you think, well, that 4 hours is going to be here before you know it, so what's the point in panicking now? What's the point in... So those little things really help me, and they wouldn't maybe help everyone. But
I like that a lot. I'm wondering, because I totally know that feeling. I had it this morning before this, like, oh my God, this all feels very overwhelming. And I could certainly soothe myself by saying, by Monday, it will all be over.
Yeah.
But part of me is like, and I remember, and this is like a name drop, guys, this is a bit gross, but when Bon Jovi came on, John Bon Jovi, thanks very much, he said his one regret was that he wished during his peak in the 80s he had enjoyed it more.
Oh,
that he had
right,
really sunk into all of it, the nerves, the excitement, the trepidation, and just gone, it is what it is, rather than going, it will be over at some point. Do you regret wishing away any matches or time on the pitch?
Do you know, it's interesting. I was walking, we filmed for the Overlap in Turin in Istanbul this week. We're doing a series for Sky. And we walked out onto the pitch in Istanbul and Jamie Carragher was there, Ian Wright, me and Roy Keane, and we're filming, going out onto the pitch in Istanbul where Liverpool won the Champions League in 2005. Any Liverpool fans in?
Don't look to this crowd, they don't know.
6. So don't worry, we're going to Barcelona next week, where we won the Champions League. So we're visiting cities where we all had good memories, international cities. So, and Roy, we walked out onto the pitch, and Roy said, "Do you wish you'd enjoyed the moments more whilst they were here?" And we both said, and Scholes said this to me, we never enjoyed it. We only enjoyed it after the game was finished and we'd won. You never enjoyed the build-up to the game, the preparation, the actual event itself or the match. Because during the match, there are things at stake. There is consequence. There is potentially you can make a mistake that causes you a problem and loses your team the game. So you never really enjoy it. There's the odd game where we might be 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go and you think, you can relax.